There's another interesting topic here when it comes down to the disassociated mind and how it manifests in physical reality. So when you have a man and a woman and they're in a relationship, you'll notice that the more time they spend with each other, the longer the relationship with each other, the more they actually start to become one in the form of mentalities. The woman will start to think a lot like her partner and maybe even cultivate the same beliefs, the same type of perspective about life. And in kind, the man may pick up certain things from the woman, but not directly the way the woman will pick it up from the man, because the way that the feminine energy is manifested is they're more influenced by the masculine energy. This is why it's important for a father figure to be around a daughter when they're growing up. And particularly, it doesn't have to be a daughter, it's a child. A child is still part of feminine energy because they're actually absorbing their reality. All right, so in essence, when you look at this, you look at like partners, they will have the same mentalities. They're like one. It's a mind that's united and in harmony. That's how relationships thrive. But it comes down to an understanding and a certain level of coherence. See, when you have relationships here that don't that actually drift apart or don't see eye to eye, is because you have these disassociated minds, and it manifests in a way where it becomes friction. So the whole masculine and femininity, gender roles and whatnot, it all comes down to harmonious, balanced chemistry just happening. You don't force a woman to submit and basically take your order. It doesn't work like that. It just happens because of the fact that since you are in harmony with yourself, the feminine energy actually follows your lead. And it happens harmoniously. It's not done by force. The only thing that wants to force here is ego, humanity, which is in a form of a fallen state. When we talk about fallen state, is because they're in a feminine state. They're in their ego state. When we talk about Christ consciousness, it's literally getting to know your chemistry, and it manifests outside of you as you treating your neighbor as you would yourself, but there's no ego involved. So when you look at your subconscious and conscious mind and your awareness and what you're doing, you're going to be manifesting chaotic reality if you're influenced by your outside world and you're not aware of what you're impregnating your subconscious mind with. So this is how it manifests as a man trying to like have his woman submit in a way where if he's not in order himself, it's a toxic relationship. It's kind of it almost looks like the blind leading the blind. You know, it's all done by force, and nothing done by force actually works. The woman is still a kind of man, and she has as much capabilities as utilizing masculine energy as the man does. But it's not to utilize that masculinity and try to overpower another man with it. It's more or less like she's aware of her reality, and that's how it manifests as her, whether she knows it or not, manifesting the right man in her life. And the right man, there is no right and wrong. The right man for her may be a man that beats her ass. And that's because that's where her mind is set at. Now, a woman, if she lacks love in herself, she won't leave that partner only because of the comforts that guy may give her, or just the fear of being alone, or just fear of the unknown. Not knowing that if she truly knew where her true power was, right, she has the ability to use the masculine energy as much as a man does. Just like a man can utilize feminine energy in a sense where he has emotions also. But a woman is the direct manifestation of those feelings. That's why they're more emotional. But a man is not to say a man doesn't have emotions. A man just has more control of his emotions. But if he doesn't have control of his emotions, it's because he's not in his masculine energy. I always look at this by looking at a person in their face, and you could tell the level of confidence in an individual, the type of stance they have, the energy that they portray. When you look at animals in the wild, when they're puppies and whatnot, let's say puppies, or let's say kittens and whatnot, you'll always see their eyes. They just look a little more innocent. They look like they're in fear or more cautious or curious about their surroundings, right? But when they become adults or mature, you can kind of see the confidence in their eyes. It's totally different. And in humans, it's the same way. That manifests the same way. You could tell by the eyes, the facial, the way they portray. It's like a facial type of recognition you could see from these people. And it's an energy signature they portray out, and it just kind of sees what state or level that they're in. All right, and you can see this just by the way they express themselves. So everything is chemistry, harmonious balance. If you find that mathematical balance within yourself and the balance between your masculine and feminine, you'll notice that everything magnetically attracts to you accordingly, because it's almost like I made in the previous video where you place an order, you don't think about the order, you just assume it's going to get done correctly, right? So it's the same way with life. Am I lying or not?
No, not at all.
We'll talk soon.